So we have this rather troubling gospel where Jesus says, I've come not to bring peace, but the sword and division. Why? Because he's saying false peace will not survive the truth. If you are going to say, well, okay, here's some words of advice I've heard from people who are in marriages. You can't just always kowtow and let the other person get their way. Sometimes you have to discuss things that are going on in the wrong in the marriage, and that might lead to maybe some tension and an argument, and that's not always a bad thing. Of course, in order to get resolved, but we look and say, Jesus is saying, I am so important. Following me is so important that it may cause division. And in many cases it does. Oh, you can't follow me? You're following Jesus? That's crazy. And it causes divisions even within families. Why? He's come to set a fire on the earth. Because we heard in the first reading that we are to know the love of Christ that surpasses all knowledge. So when we be filled with the fullness of God, that this fire that is being set upon the earth is the fire of Christ's love. In his speaking with St. Faustina writes in her diary, and I was looking this up because I was kind of remembering this quote a little bit in the back of my mind, and so I went and, St. Siri helped me with all of that, you know how that is, and went to diary paragraph 1074 of St. Faustina's diary. I was like, 1074, why do I know that name? Well, because it's one of my favorite paragraphs, but it's the second part that's my favorite, not the first, and the first is what I was remembering. Jesus says in 1074, the flames of mercy are burning me. I desire to pour them out upon human souls. Oh, what pain they cause me when they do not want to accept them. Here's the fire of God's merciful love. He wants to pour it out on us. And so often in our world we reject his mercy. He says they're burning him. That causes him pain that he can't pour out his mercy. It causes Jesus pain when we reject his mercy. He wants to set the world on fire in this love that he has for us. Now, the next part of the paragraph is my favorite part of the paragraph, and I'm just going to say it because it is my favorite part of the paragraph. My daughter, do whatever is within your power to spread the devotion to my mercy. I will make up for whatever you lack. And here it is. Tell aching mankind to snuggle close to my merciful heart, and I will fill it with peace. Did you catch that? Jesus actually said snuggle. He wants us to snuggle close to his merciful heart. Tell aching mankind to snuggle close to my merciful heart, and I will fill it with peace. Back when I was able to do First Communions, now that we have the restored order and the bishop comes and does the First Communions and confirmations. But back before that, when I was able to do First Communions, I have this Jesus pillow that somebody gave me in my first pastorate, where he has a little Sacred Heart thing, and very squeezable. So I would always pull him out for the First Communions. And as I'm preaching to the kids, I'd say, Jesus taught us how to snuggle. That when we come to the Eucharist, he wants to snuggle into our hearts. Jesus wants us to snuggle close to his merciful heart. He says, my daughter, do whatever is within your power to spread the devotion to my mercy, and I will make up for what you lack. He longs for us to know the love that he has. What does St. Paul say? What is the breadth and length and height and depth? This love of Christ that surpasses all knowledge. And we think, so often I've dealt with people where they say, oh, I don't want to burden Jesus with my sins. He wants to be burdened with them. He wants us to come to him and say, here, Jesus, this is too much for me. And when we don't, when we refuse, when we hold on to our sins, we're saying, I'm going to do this on my own. And it hurts Jesus. He says, oh, what pain they cause me when they do not want to accept the graces of his mercy that he pours out on souls. Why don't we accept God's mercy? I think in my life it's mostly because of pride that, I shouldn't have done that. There's no way I should have done that, and so I need to punish myself. And Jesus is saying, I don't want to punish you. I don't want to punish you. I just want you to come to my heart. Just want you to come so close to me. Do we accept Jesus' mercy? Well, after what I've done, I don't deserve mercy. Duh. That's a technical term, by the way. Mercy, by definition, is not deserved. If we deserved it, it wouldn't be mercy. It would be justice. Mercy, by its definition, is not deserved. None of us deserve his mercy. But he so longs to give it. He so longs to pour it out. When we refuse to accept it, it burns his heart. How he has come to set the world on fire, how he wishes it were already blazing. May we allow the blaze of the fire of love, of God's mercy, to pour into our hearts so that we may be setting the world on fire, letting people know how much he wants to pour out his mercy upon us.